Hakola from Finland, living here in Idaho. Kiitos Rotary.
Hi, I'm Andrea from Denmark. Tag Rotary.
Hi, I'm Elena from Spain. I'm living in Boise. Gracias, Rotary.
The Rotary Youth Exchange Program provides thousands of students the opportunity to meet people from other countries and to experience new cultures, planting the seeds for a lifetime of international understanding. Exposure to different cultures is one of the most powerful ways to promote world peace. Youth exchange began during the 1920s as an effort between a handful of clubs in Europe and grew in popularity during the 1950s. In 1972, Rotary International decided to recommend youth exchange to clubs worldwide as a worthwhile international activity. Today, the reciprocal long-term academic program is the primary type of Rotary Youth Exchange with which we're familiar, and more than 8,000 youth exchange students travel abroad each year to live and study in about 80 countries. District 5400 sends between 15 and 20 or more students each year for long-term exchanges to our partner districts abroad, and they in turn select students to send to our district. These are true partnerships between Rotary districts. Our ability to send students depends upon our willingness to host students from other districts. A club's willingness to host students opens up an opportunity a local student might not otherwise have to gain a new cultural perspective, learn a language, and grow, all while advancing the causes of international understanding and world peace. And our reliance on a network of highly trained volunteers to run this program means the cost does not have to be prohibitive to middle-class families.
It felt like I felt very connected, and I felt like my country was connected to the rest of the world, and I had a different perspective in terms of, well, how do other people think about this? This may be good for us here. How does that impact others? How can we make things a win-win situation, not just for the U.S. but for other countries? So it just broadened my understanding of the world, made me feel like global citizenship was just as important as American citizenship, and frankly made the world a much more interesting place for me.
To participate in District 5400's Rotary Youth Exchange Program, a club must agree to assign a youth exchange officer and counselor to be vetted and trained to support the incoming student, pay a small stipend for the student to use as spending money, secure 2 to 3 host families and school placement for the year, and engage the student in club and other activities throughout the school year. In addition, clubs can participate in recruiting and helping vet the outbound exchange students from their area. Children or grandchildren of Rotarians are not exempt from applying, but there needn't be any Rotary connection in order for a student to apply. Sometimes new families who agree to host or whose children participate in the program are introduced to Rotary for the first time. Clubs in the same school area can partner in hosting a student. Sometimes this makes it easier for smaller clubs to participate.
I think going on exchange has really impacted my life, that I've been more willing to get out of my comfort zone and to talk to other people and to just like make friends with whoever's there. So that's helped me in college, like reaching out and joining a sorority in college. That's helped me, like I traveled to Germany this summer and kind of worked on a military base over there. So I think it's really given me kind of a global view of like anyone can be, like you can meet anyone and they can be your friend, you know, like just go out and enjoy the world.
So when they ask you exactly who do you love, who do you dream of, you tell them, baby, that it's me. I watch the restless and all the many unloved.
District 5400's Youth Exchange Committee members are knowledgeable about the process and on hand to answer questions, mentor clubs involved in the program, market the program, and offer general guidance to clubs, families, and students. We train and orient the students we receive from our partner countries, our inbounds, and the students we send abroad, our outbounds, well enough that we have received positive feedback on the solid reputation of our program worldwide, something District 5400 should be proud of. There are guidelines in place to protect the safety of the student and the integrity of the program. Students must be enrolled full-time in school. Students must conduct themselves with decorum as ambassadors of their countries and of Rotary. Hosts and clubs are encouraged to make the student a member of the family rather than a guest. Any volunteers involved with a student must be fully trained and have a background check. Students must understand and embrace the fact that they are here to experience life in the U.S., not to travel, play a particular sport, or graduate from a particular high school.
Feeling still so dear to us, and we'll get there somehow.
It really gave me, my youth exchange gave me a taste for international travel, so I did another study abroad while I was at university, went to France for a semester, learned to speak French, discovered that having one language under my belt made learning a second language that much easier, so I was able to pick up French much more quickly just because my brain had been opened to the ability to speak another language, and was able then to pick it up pretty quickly. Came back, then took some Spanish courses, went and lived in Guatemala for an immersive language camp for about 6 weeks with my fiance, and we learned Spanish really well and traveled around, and that was great. And so really what it did was open my mind to new possibilities, enabled my brain to kind of soak up different languages, and just gave me the confidence to know that I could learn those things, and gave me the confidence to explore new cultures and new areas that I wouldn't necessarily have had. Born and raised in Idaho, didn't travel internationally that much as a kid, going to Canada a few times, going to Mexico once, but did not have an international travel background growing up. And so that was really the catalyst that led me to that kind of international travel world, and now have traveled internationally quite a bit, speak several languages, and again, has just led me to have that ability to learn and the confidence to know that I can.
There are a number of different layers of impact that happen with youth exchange. Let's go through these one at a time. The first one is on individuals, and those could be individual Rotarians, those could be the students. The students have already made a decision, a very courageous decision, to go thousands of miles away from home and come to a place they've never heard of. That already puts them in a position where they're showing you what some character in terms of what they're willing to try. What we want to do, and what has been the tradition of Rotary in the past, is support those students, mentor those students, and show them our home state, show them our culture, show them our American culture, and in essence, what we do is we send them back as part American, and that really is what is the vehicle that takes us to this world peace objective that Rotary Youth Exchange hopes to support through moving teenagers all over the globe. The effect on a club is interesting, and it has everything to do with how much the club embraces their hosting status. One of the things that I've asked hosting clubs within District 5400 to do in the last couple of years is, as individual Rotarians, take these youngsters out for a meal. Get to know them, listen to what their stories are, ask them what they think of the United States. The more that we see this one-on-one contact between the students and the clubs, then the club starts changing. We're like, really? We are the ones who are hosting this student. I won't call them a child, or this student, and they're pretty interesting individuals. They show up as courageous teenagers, but they get even more interesting because of the mentoring that we as Rotarians, as caring Rotarians, put into youth exchange. So my answer about what the effect is on a club has everything to do with how actively you get involved with this student. The more you dive in, the better it gets.
Hi, I'm Julie from Belgium. Thank you, Rotary. Hi, I'm Bella. I went to the Netherlands in 2018. Thank you, Rotary. Hey, I'm Alma Stromberg from Sweden. Thank you, Rotary.
Hi, I'm Ora from Belgium. I live in Clear Lake. Thanks for the Rotary.
Hi, I'm Shana. I'm from Taiwan. 谢谢扶轮社.
Hi, I'm Eduardo from Brazil. Obrigado, Rotary.
Hi, I'm Anna from Italy and I'm living in Mexico. Grazie, Rotary.
Hi, I'm Jace from Blackfoot, Idaho, and I am going to Japan. Thank you, Rotary. Cool.
For more information, visit our website, youthexchange5400.duda1.com.
Thank you, Rotary!
All right.
Do you want some meat? Woo!